So this thing right behind me is my project car. And it's finished. I mean, as finished as a project car will ever be. We all know that project cars never get finished, but for the purposes of this video, let's call a project car finished when it becomes safe and enjoyable to do with it whatever it is you intended to do with your project cars. So whether it's driving on public roads, whether it's racing, whether it's drifting, when that car becomes capable of fully doing whatever it is you wanted to do it, let's call it finished at that point. So my car is finished, and today I want to share some of the really valuable lessons that I learned along the way that I think can help anybody who's building a project car. Now, before we start, a quick word of warning. If you're expecting this video to be one of those videos, that's trying to rationalize project cars, that tells you, to be objective and realistic about your budget and your time frame and this and that, please feel free to click away from this video right now, because I really hate that kind of cookie cutter content that's trying to rationalize project cars. Rationalizing project cars would be like rationalizing doing cocaine. It's like, okay, I'm gonna do 7 lines in March, and then I'm gonna do, this much cocaine in October, and in December I'm probably gonna be dead. And this is my cocaine budget, and I'm gonna, come on. Project cars aren't something you do with your head. Project cars are something you do with your heart. It's the type of thing where your heart calls the shots and your brain does the work. Because if your brain were to see the real budget and the real time frame and the real effort that goes into a project car, your brain would quit right away. But your heart tells your brain, hey, remember when you were a 6-year-old? Remember that little toy car you had? Remember all the memories? Let's build it. And then your brain says, ah, shucks, I'm gonna get my wallet. And that's how it goes. And at the end, if you succeed, it's all worth it. So as I said, we aren't going to pretend like we can rationalize things here. We're gonna be real in this video. Whatever kind of budget you have planned, you're gonna get it wrong. If you plan 5,000, it's gonna be 10. If you plan 10,000, it's gonna be 20. If you plan 20,000, you get the idea. Why is it impossible to get a budget for a project car right? It's impossible because it's impossible to see into the future. And because you can't see into the future, you cannot predict the kind of unexpected crap that's gonna pop up along the way that you could never see coming. You might get a budget right only if it's your 3rd or 4th project car and if you're working on the same platform the entire time. If you decide to do something totally different for your 3rd or 4th project car, you're gonna get the budget wrong. Yeah, right. I had 0 tools when I bought this car. Nothing. And on the day when I bought this car, I went to a hardware store and got a $16 set of sockets and a socket wrench. And I honestly thought that was gonna be enough. I had never even changed an oil filter before I bought this car. I had 0 skills. I once changed a stereo on my daily driver. That's it. If you think tools and skills are crucial to doing a project car, then the only people who would ever be doing project cars would be professional mechanics. And we all know that's not true. This has got to be the stupidest one. Stay motivated. I mean, like, telling somebody who just hit a major snag with their project car to stay motivated is like telling somebody who just lost their job and has a giant mortgage to not worry. It's like don't worry, it's all gonna work out in the end. Stay motivated, you're gonna finish it. It doesn't work that way. You don't stay motivated by having somebody else or yourself tell you to stay motivated. And I'm willing to bet cash money that anyone who has ever worked on a project car has lost their motivation dozens of times. So if you Google how to finish a project car, you're probably gonna run into one of these articles that warn you against the many pitfalls of doing a project car and that try to show you how to avoid these pitfalls. Well, when I was doing this car, I fell into every single pitfall there is. I ran out of money multiple times. I broke my time frame schedule a million times. I had zero tools. I had zero skills. I ran out of motivation dozens upon dozens of times. And here's what I learned. There's just one thing that works and that gets a project car finished. And that's to refuse to give up. That's it. When you run out of money, wait a bit, save some money, come back, but refuse to give up. When you run out of motivation, walk away. Take a vacation from your project car for a week or two, hang out with your friends, go to car meets, watch YouTube videos, and then come and hit it hard. But refuse to give up. If you hit a major snag, you discover some rust where you didn't think there was going to be any rust, refuse to give up. That's it. That's the one skill you need. Refuse to give up. Keep your goal in your sights and refuse to give up. That's all there is to it. And if you master this sort of skill, you will be able to apply it to anything else in your life. To your job, to building a home, to staying fit, to whatever else you want to do. There's no way to artificially or magically stay motivated. You can just refuse to give up. Refusing to give up is your last line of defense. It's also your best line of defense. And it better be strong because you're gonna hit that line of defense many times. But when you hit it, you gotta be rock solid and refuse to give up.
Refuse to give up is not for everyone. Consult your doctor before refusing to give up. Side effects include but are not limited to heartburn, irritability, depression, financial ruin, divorce, anal leakage.
Willpower is critical. But unfortunately, there are scenarios when it just doesn't work. And those scenarios are the real pitfalls. It's not budget, it's not time frame, it's not tools, it's not skills, it's not motivation, it's this. I can really appreciate and relate with the enthusiasm of people thinking that they can fix up a car on the side of the street in front of their house or their apartment building. Because that's how I started out. The first several months of me working on this car were spent in an underground garage with, that just has marked up parking spaces. That's it. I tried to work on the car there. It doesn't work. You're not gonna finish a project car unless you have a garage or at least a covered driveway. That's it. It's a fact. Really rare and really obscure cars can be really dangerous. Your amount of willpower is completely irrelevant if the car you're working on, parts for it simply don't exist, if you can't find them anywhere. I mean, with a right budget, every car in this world can be turned into a masterpiece. But if that budget ends up requiring, custom complex prototyping, machining, and making new parts from scratch, then that budget might end up being more, than the house you live in. And that just doesn't make sense. Nothing kills a project car faster than the wrong priorities. Sometimes people spend money first on the things they want instead of the things they need. For example, somebody goes out and buys a set of new amazing wheels when what they really need is a running engine. Hitting milestones with your car is really important, because when you hit a milestone, you're gonna get a morale boost that's gonna help you push further. Firing up the engine for the first time is a major milestone. It's alive! And when you hit it, you're gonna be able to move on to other things and get your car on the road. Your brain is the manager, it's the organizer of your project car. And priorities is the one area where you have to be rational. This is where you have to let your brain have the last word. Because if you set the wrong priorities, if you buy the wheels first, you're just gonna end up spending the next 2 years looking at them standing still on your car in the garage. So that's pretty much it, and that's all I really wanted to tell you when it comes to finishing a project car. If you're out there, if you're working on your project car, then I really wish you the best of luck, and I hope you get to enjoy it as soon as possible. If you've hit some sort of a snag, then stay strong and refuse to give up. Because once you're done with it, when you get to enjoy it for the first time, I promise you it's all going to make sense, it's all going to be worth it, and all the pain and suffering, it's instantly going to turn into memories, into funny stories that you get to tell your friends when you take them out for a ride in your awesome car.